Freakonomics Radio is sponsored by Adidas. Check out the latest footwear innovation from Adidas, the Adizero Adios Pro 2, which features carbon fiber energy rods that are both lightweight and precisely tuned for a more anatomical transition. Everything from the ultra-light polyester upper to the re-sculpted midsole and the reinvented outsoles are designed for speed. Visit adidas.com to learn more today.
I'm going to make a lot of money. It's Pharrell, Coast to Coast. All right, Pharrell back on Coast to Coast, hour number 2, Carver High. We get into some pain day skinny now because it's all evolving rapidly. Thursday night, we have action.
Yeah, the nonsense is over, Scotty. That's it. No more summer, no more Labor Day holidays, no more waiting around, dopey preseason games. We've made it, baby. It's pain day week. It's here. Week 1 of the NFL. We get going on Thursday night in Tampa. Let's go. We get going with the defending Super Bowl champions, the Tampa Bay Bucks and the Dallas Cowboys on Thursday night. Cowboys, they're in trouble, Scotty. Their best offensive lineman, Zach Martin, he gets placed on the COVID list. He will not play in the game on Thursday night. Let's hear from Ezekiel Elliott. He knows. Going to be a big loss not having Martin on that O-line.
I mean, it's disappointing, but I mean, you can't harp on it. Can't let it be more than what it is. I mean, we're definitely gonna miss him. Definitely wish he was out there, but we still have a game to go play, and we gotta go try to get the job.
I won't deny that they have some players that can get it on. CeeDee Lamb, Cooper, Dak, and Elliott. They got all kinds of talent. Why is it then that they never get it done? Why is it that they're always hyped and never live up to any of it? And now they're going into Raymond James to take on Tom Brady and the Super Bowl champions on Thursday Night Football to start the season. Does anyone really think they're winning that football game? I don't care if Zach Martin plays or not. If he played in the game, I'd still take Tampa. And I'd still lay it. Like, is anyone really betting on the Cowboys because of Zach Martin? That's the reason you bet on him, because he's their best lineman? I need, somebody to clear this up for me, because I'm not that smart, honestly, Carver High. Do you really have any faith in the Dallas Cowboys, who haven't won it in so long? It was the last time they won it and got it done. I mean, Jerry wasn't senile, okay? Can we put it that way?
I can't imagine betting on the Cowboys on Thursday night. We'll see if that line can get a little bit higher. They're going to try to entice some people to bet them, that's for sure. Let's go to the Bucks now. As we know, defending champs, Jason Pierre-Paul says the Bucks are the hunted this year, and they know it. Here's JPP.
BA says a lot already. We came in, we can't expect, us to be in the Super Bowl again. You got to work hard for it. From the start of the season, every 32 teams say, you know what, we're going to be in the Super Bowl this year, But in reality you got to put in that work, When you're tired, are you doing those extra reps? Are you pushing yourself hard for the next guy next to you? I think that's what we do on this team. That's what I do as an individual. But we're not expecting, to look past everybody. We just going to come in playing great ball. We start the season off, and we just going to go at it from there. I think if we do that, we're going to be Gucci.
I mean, it really boils down to, are they going to be healthy when it matters? Putting them in the Super Bowl today before they play a game, to me, is ridiculous. We already know that they won it. We know what they're capable of. We know the talent they have. It boils down to, in January, will they be healthy when they have to go on a run and get to February and the Super Bowl in Los Angeles at SoFi? I mean, it's not some formula we don't know about, but I'm not crowning anybody on, 7th of September. Thanks a lot. We welcome our radio affiliate, Sirius XM, Mightier 1090 in San Diego, Sports Map Radio Network in H-Town, and, of course, in the city by the Bay, Sports Byline, USA, Armed Forces Radio as well. Good to have you with us on Coast to Coast. What's the deal with Sue, and what's the deal with Brady? I know people are talking about him having COVID at the Super Bowl parade. He got it. Does anyone really care about people's old COVID news? I mean, like when people start saying, I had COVID, like, because I had it at Christmas. No one cares. They wouldn't even have cared if I died. They would have been like, are they still talking about this guy's COVID?
Yes, Brady did divulge that he got it after the Super Bowl boat parade. I guess he just wanted to drop that information in for everybody. Ndamukong Suh off the COVID list, Scotty. He will be good to go for Thursday night's opener against the Cowboys. A lot of teams and executives are worried because all the players basically had off this last weekend. There was no fourth preseason game. Everybody kind of got to go home and do their thing one last time before the season starts. I saw a lot of players, Scotty, go to their old colleges. I saw Trevor Lawrence at the Clemson game. I saw a couple of other guys. Patrick Mahomes was at the Texas Tech game in Houston. So some worry that there's going to be guys coming back getting put on the list this week. Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl loser. They open up, Scotty, with the Cleveland Browns on Sunday. Here is head coach Andy Reid. He feels that the Browns are a better team than the one that they beat in the playoffs a year ago.
I mean, they got a heck of a football team, and they feel like they've made themselves better this offseason. So, and I can understand why. They've added a few people in the secondary, and they've added Clowney up front, and they've just, the linebacker position is a little different. So, and then offensively, they've got a couple guys back. So they're pretty good football players. And so they're fully loaded, and they're good, and they're well coached. Kevin's done a nice job of them.
Yeah, I think Kevin's done a great job with the Browns, and they're going to bend over at Arrowhead. And I know they played them in the playoffs. Everybody gets all excited. Listen, does anyone really think the Browns are beating them in Kansas City? I mean, honestly, like, I'm not making that bet if I was the only person left on earth. I mean, you're going to lose your money.
SportsGrid.com. Betting insights and entertainment at your fingertips 24/7 as our team covers the most important topics in sports wagering. Real-time odds, predictive betting models, expert picks, and more. Want the edge? Then get on the grid. SportsGrid.com.
Freakonomics Radio is sponsored by Adidas. Check out the latest footwear innovation from Adidas, the Adizero Adios Pro 2, which features carbon fiber energy rods that are both lightweight and precisely tuned for a more anatomical transition. Everything from the ultra-light polyester upper to the resculpted midsole and the reinvented outsoles are designed for speed. Visit adidas.com to learn more today.
The kid was up 5-2, and now it's 5-all. She's serving, and it's a deuce, and she had a 40-0 lead in that 5-all on serve for her, and obviously she's getting rattled, and if Svitolina gets to serve and send it to a tiebreak, who are you going to bet on in the tiebreak after this kid was up 5-2 and blew it? I mean, she had the match. It was over. They were talking about her being in the semis, and now she's in trouble, and the pressure looks like it's getting to her. We'll see if she can turn it around. All right, back to the NFL and Bill Belichick, Carver High.
Yes, let's do that. Of course, he is going to start rookie quarterback Mac Jones. Is he worried about him making mistakes? He says not at all, Scotty. We all make mistakes. Here's Bill Belichick.
Well, we all make mistakes. I make plenty of them. So does everybody else. So we just try to keep working and keep improving, and that's really what each day
Bill
is.
Bill just got up. Look at this outfit he's got on.
Address the points of emphasis that we've identified for that day, and work on them, and be able to go out there and execute them, to a certain level, and possibly build on them later on in the week or the next day, whatever the case might be. And then if they come up on Sunday, to be able to execute them well in the game. So it's really the same for all of us, but we're all going to make mistakes along the way. rookies, veterans, players, coaches, you name it. So try not to make the same ones twice and try not to make too many big ones.
What is happening there? Now all of a sudden he's nice and people are allowed to make mistakes? I mean, are you kidding me? Listen, this is one of the hardest bets this week, I think, in the NFL. Are you going to bet on this kid against a number one unit for Miami? I've never thought that the Dolphins play well in Foxborough, ever. But we all know what happens to Brady and the Patriots when they play in Miami, right? Can the Dolphins go there and beat this rookie? Can Tua Tagovailoa, who's supposed to be this rock star, finally step up and win a big game on the road in Foxborough? Are you willing to take that bet, Carver High, that the Dolphins can beat him?
I think they can beat them. I like the under a lot more in this game. I feel like it's going to be a bit of a rock fight with Tua and Mac Jones, but they do not have success up there. They lost there last year in week 1. I think that was, of course, with Fitz at the quarterback. I kind of like Tua this week to get the win over Mac Jones. Also this Sunday, the Eagles, Philadelphia, Scotty, they go to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. Nick Sirianni will be on an NFL sideline for the first time in a regular season game as the head coach. Here he details the 5 things that he wants to see from his football team on a weekly basis. Nick Sirianni.
I really want to see us being a team that connects. You know, when we're in the end zone and when we get an interception or when we get a fumble recovery or turnover, like, I want to celebrate together amongst, you know. And then I want to compete. I want to see a team that's fighting, and that's part of toughness, right? And accountability. And football IQ, I want to see a smart team out there in situational football and knowing what to do and not having mental errors and knowing their opponent and who they're playing. And then biggest one to me that I always want people to see in our football team is fundamentals, because, again, this is something that I talked about from the beginning, that teams that play with good fundamentals, they win one-on-one matchups. And every coach that I brought in here was brought in here because I believe that they could teach fundamentals and get guys better. And so all those 5 things, particularly even a little bit more emphasis even there on that fundamentally sound thing.
Like, the whole time the guy was rambling, I was thinking, can Matt Ryan finally win a game against a crappy team? I mean, like, can he beat Jalen Hurts and the Eagles? I don't deny that the Eagles have a decent pass rush, and I won't deny they got Devontae Smith, but I mean, honestly, I am not afraid of the Philadelphia Eagles, but the Falcons suck so bad. It is so amazing to me. They have Ridley, they got Pitts, they got all these guys, but their defense is anemic. They're awful. I mean, this team is so awful. They mow through coaches, and this is like 2 crappy teams playing in Atlanta. And I've always said, you know what I say, Carver High, when 2 crappy teams hook up, it's always a great game.
Yeah, it'll probably be the best game on Sunday. It'll be some kind of 38-35 shootout between the Falcons and the Eagles. A couple of wounded birds in Atlanta on Sunday. Joe Judge and the New York Giants, they open with the Broncos on Sunday. The players, are they hearing the outside noise? The Giants aren't going to be that good this year. Joe Judge says he doesn't care if the players use it as motivation or not. They still have to get the job done. Here's Joe Judge.
Whatever you got to use as motivation, go ahead. If it helps you, it helps you. I mean, look, we got to worry about what we can do inside the building to affect the results on the field. The noise on the outside doesn't really affect anything we do internally.
I mean, the bottom line is they got to win the game at home to start their season. I mean, they're playing, I think, an average football team that everybody gets all worked up and lathered up about. They hear the Denver Broncos, same kind of thing, the Raiders, and, you know, you hear the Cowboys, everybody gets all flustered, and they're like, oh, my God, here they come. I won't deny they had a great franchise with Pat Bowlen and Super Bowls. There's no denying that, so I respect them. But I just don't think they're that good. I really don't. I'm surprised Fangio even kept his job. And so, to me, the Giants need to beat them. Beat them in New York, win your home opener. I don't care who you're playing. Win the game, because the Broncos aren't that good. Calm down.
I agree with you. This is a spot where I think the Giants have to win. They have to show a little bit after adding some pieces to the offense in the offseason. The Green Bay Packers thought that they were going to be going to New Orleans this weekend to play the Saints at the Superdome. That is not the case. They will now play them in Jacksonville. The late kickoff on Sunday at 4:25 p.m. Eastern. Head coach Matt LaFleur, they do have to prepare in some different ways now that they are going to be in the Florida Heat. Here's LaFleur.
I just know that we're going to have to take the necessary steps to make sure our guys are hydrated, because I know it's going to be hot. I know it's going to be humid. I heard there's a potential for rain, and which there always is down in Florida. And so we're going to have to make sure our guys are doing a great job hydrating all week, because it's just, for us, it's impossible to replicate that type of environment. And so guys are going to have to be diligent and do what they need to. But as far as the atmosphere is concerned, yeah, I really have no idea in terms of the number of fans that are going to be there, and, you know, Saints fans versus Packer fans, no idea.
I mean, the Saints have to deal with the same stuff. They're not playing in their air-conditioned building either. They're going to go out there, and they stink to begin with. And you're telling me Famous Jameis is beating Aaron Rodgers in a game? I don't care if they play it in a sandbox. I'm betting on Aaron Rodgers. That's a done deal right there.
No, I'm with you 100%. As we get closer here to kickoff, start the year, Super Bowl odds moved a little bit, not too much. We still got most of the usual suspects at the top. Kansas City plus 450 at BetMGM. Tampa right behind them at 7-1. Then the Bills and the Rams are the team that's starting to get some juice, Scotty. Rams are now ahead of the Niners, the Ravens, and the Packers as the fourth choice at 12-1 to win the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, I'm not putting anyone in the Super Bowl today like all these other geniuses that have it all figured out. It's all just so easy, and it's just pencil them in and let's go to Los Angeles, and we're going to watch the same two teams in the Super Bowl. I just don't believe that. I really don't. I mean, in all honesty, like I would take Buffalo right now with this kid Josh Allen, and I don't think Tampa's repeating a Super Bowl champs like everybody else does that thinks it's so automatic. I'm not buying that either. I think they'll have injuries. I think they'll have problems. At some point, that guy, I don't care what anybody says, he's incredible. I know it, but it's not happening every single year until he's 80. I just don't believe it. I don't believe it. I think someone will knock them off.
It's got to happen at some point, right? Like, can we just get a year where maybe things just don't go right for Tom? You know, maybe doesn't take the protein bars every morning. Something goes wrong.
SportsGrid.com. Betting insights and entertainment at your fingertips 24/7 as our team covers the most important topics in sports wagering. Real-time odds, predictive betting models, expert picks, and more. Want the edge? Then get on the grid. SportsGrid.com.
Freakonomics Radio is sponsored by Adidas. Check out the latest footwear innovation from Adidas, the Adizero Adios Pro 2, which features carbon fiber energy rods that are both lightweight and precisely tuned for a more anatomical transition. Everything from the ultra-light polyester upper to the re-sculpted midsole and the reinvented outsoles are designed for speed. Visit adidas.com to learn more today.
Five all in the tiebreak. The kids had 4 times been two points away from winning the match. 4 times. And it's still 5 all in the tiebreak. And it's very exciting. All right, Carver High, where are we here?
I'm going to go to the Steelers now, Scotty. They're optimistic to get a TJ Watt deal done by the opener against the Bills this week, but some say negotiations are getting ugly. Apparently, the Steelers, for long standing, their rules are they don't give guaranteed money after the first year, and that appears to be a sticking point with Watt. Mike Tomlin said today he does expect Watt to join them and work in practice tomorrow in preparation for the game, but it does not seem like a good situation with TJ Watt right now, Scotty.
Well, I mean, he's their best player, if you ask me, and I think they're, playing this dangerous You know what I mean? Like, it's just a bad hand at the poker table. What are you doing? I mean, this guy's the best player on the whole team. He's the most important player on the team. He is incredible. He's a dynamic player. They got to sign him. They got to give him the money. I mean, you know, it's funny. The Steelers have always played this game, this cheap end game with contracts since I've been alive. They've been always pinching pennies. It's incredible how they mess with players. And they're doing it with this guy. I think it's a huge mistake. I hope they get it done because if not, he'll leave Pittsburgh like the other ones do. So it is what it is. But I think they have to get it done. I think they know that. And I don't think they're playing this very smart.
David Culley says that Tyrod Taylor is going to be the starting quarterback in Houston. We knew that. Deshaun Watson is not going to play. Lions running back DeAndre Swift will be good to go for the opener this week against the 49ers. Dwayne Brown reworks the final year of his deal with the Seahawks. He's going to play now. Ravens give tight end Mark Andrews 4-year, $36 million extension. Ravens also are going to work out Le'Veon Bell and Devonta Freeman. More running back injuries for the Ravens. They have nobody left in that room besides Gus Edwards. Cowboys create cap space by converting Dak money into a signing bonus. Titans do the same with Julio Jones. Josh Norman, 100 years old. He signs with the 49ers. And 36% more adults are expected to bet on the NFL this season, Scotty. There you go.
I'm going to bet on every single game this week. How's that sound?
That'll get the job done too. How about some baseball from over the long weekend while we were not here? The Tampa Rays continue to get it done, Scotty. They rally. They were down 6-0 in the first inning yesterday to the Sox at Fenway. Get a couple of inside the park homers and an 11-10 win in 10 innings at Fenway. Rays manager Kevin Cash says, "We never quit."
You're never surprised with these guys. They stay at it. They stay positive. But I think that's fair. We're down 7-1. We're facing Chris Sale. And we had reason to kind of be frustrated. We left guys on base. We had a bunch of hits where not really nothing to show, where they had every hit for them that, you know, seemed like it was knocking a guy in. So, but Nelly's at bat, and then, you know, the 3-run scoring or 4-run scoring on the error by Mater really turned things in our direction, and we just kind of fed off that momentum inning to inning, piecing it together.
I mean, we already know they're going to win the East. I think the more pressing issue is what's going on with the Red Sox and Yankees. They're obviously failing miserably at closing out games and winning games. I thought the Yankees looked terrible against Baltimore, and Toronto kicked their ass yesterday. They're playing them again tonight, but Cole is on the mound. I know my son is headed to Yankee Stadium as we speak, and he's going to that game tonight, and he's not a Yankee fan. He hates them. He's a Pirate fan. He's going to wear all of his Pirates gear. He'll probably get shanked in the Bronx. I'm worried about that. Not too smart.
Man, they lose 2 out of 3 to the Orioles over the weekend, and then the Blue Jays absolutely whacked them yesterday afternoon at the stadium, 8-0. How about Vlad Guerrero Jr., Scotty? Youngest player in Blue Jays history to hit 40 bombs. Let's hear it. Sportsnet 590 in Toronto.
3 balls and 2 strikes on Vladdy. Tyone deals. And a curveball is popped up down the right field line. Starting to travel well. Judge is at the wall, and he can't get it. It's gone! The youngest player in franchise history, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., with 40 home runs. The Blue Jays have gone back-to-back.
I mean, they're 3 games back in the wild card and plenty of games to go. So is Seattle. Oakland's 3.5 back. The Yankees have screwed around. So have the Red Sox. Anything can happen now.
Absolutely. Here's Aaron Boone, concerned by what has happened to the Yankees after the long winning streak. They've now lost 7 out of 9. Here's Booney.
Always concerning. I'm concerned when we're in the middle of winning 7 in a row. So, yeah, it's a concern. These are big time games right now. These are important games. I want us to play well. We need to dig ourselves out of this little funk we've been in for a week and get that opportunity tomorrow. But I'm concerned when we're winning big or when we're going through a tough stretch, and we will pull out of it, but we need to get it going.
And they lose Loaizaga. He's another guy going on the IL now. That can't help.
No, that does not help at all. Gets the cortisone shot, going to be on the IL for 10 days. We'll see what happens there. Phillies hammered the Brewers 12-0. 2 home runs, Scotty, for Bryce Harper. This was after they dropped a couple games to the Marlins over the weekend. Zach Wheeler with 9 strikeouts. He says the Phillies needed that win big time.
We're going up against a Cy Young pitcher with Woodruff there. And to jump on him early, Bryce with the big homer, Freddie adding on. So, yeah, great to kind of, jump out and be feeling good and have those couple losses in Miami kind of in the rear view.
I mean, you got to win these games. You're losing to the Marlins, like the Yankees losing to the Orioles. And, I mean, it's unbelievable. You can never say anything is automatic in baseball. These late September games are a disaster for some of these teams.
They certainly are, including the Mets, Scotty. They thought that they were getting back into the mix a little bit after their win streak a week ago, I should say. Yesterday, they had a lead over the Nationals in D.C., but it did not go well for Edwin Diaz in the 9th. Let's hear it on SNY.
Diaz put himself in trouble. He walked Escobar on 4 pitches. He walked Bell on a 3-2 pitch. And Stevenson delivered the hit to tie the game. Now trying to keep the game tied. There goes the runner from first. Ground ball near the middle, and it's a base hit, and the Nats win the game.
Oh, my.
With Stevenson in motion, Keyboom put the ball in play beyond the reach of Lindor. Dell comes home with the winning run. A crushing loss for the Mets as the Nats score 2 in the bottom of the 9th and take the final game of the series 4-3.
I mean, Keith Hernandez there sounded like he was getting sick. You know what it is? I'm sick and tired of watching this guy, Edwin Diaz, just be atrocious for the Mets for 2 years, whatever it is. He has been flat out awful. Get rid of his ass. Faster than you can spit, he's out in New York.
He stinks. The Cubs beat the Reds 4-3. They've won 7 in a row. How about the Cubbies? The Astros hammered the Mariners 11-2. Giants beat the Rockies. The Dodgers beat the Cardinals. Giants took 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers over the weekend, Scotty. At Oracle, nice job by them. You sent me that ridiculous catch by Ben Gamble of the Pirates. Something good happened to the Buccos over the weekend. That was some grab by your boy Ben Gamble.
That was a great grab, and so was Stanton's grab in right field for the Yankees.
Yes, it was. The Braves give Charlie Morton a 1-year extension. All right, we've got baseball tonight. Everybody is in action. Let's go. The Twins and the Indians tonight in Cleveland. Indians, the home favorite, -130. We've got the Tigers and the Buccos at PNC, Peralta and Peters, -108 each way. The Mets and the Marlins, Edward Cabrera on the hill against Carlos Carrasco, Mets -174. You mentioned it, Cole on the hill for the Yankees, -240 against the Jays at the stadium. The Royals are in Baltimore against the Orioles, -118. The Royals are road favorite.
Yeah, I'm taking the Royals. I'm on Cole. That's my top play. Every time this guy pitches, he's striking out 12, 15 guys. He's automatic. He and Scherzer are putting on a show lately as, great closer type guys that go out and close problems out and losing streaks and issues. Give me the Mets, give me the Tigers, and I'm going to go with the Indians at home.
The Rays and the Red Sox again tonight in Fenway. Eduardo Rodriguez on the hill for the Sox, -106 for them. Nationals and the Braves in Atlanta. Max Fried on the mound, -245. Phillies and the Brewers in Milwaukee. Aaron Nola goes -108 for Philadelphia. And the Reds and the Cubbies again. Cubbies looking for 8 in a row. The Reds, the road favorite, -156. And the Dodgers and the Cardinals in St. Louis. Jay Happ going for St. Louis. The Dodgers -152.
Yeah, look, so I'm on the Rays again, and then I'm taking the Braves. I know it says the Red Sox, but I'm going to go Braves. I'm on the Brewers. I'm taking the Reds, believe it or not, even though the Cubs are on fire. It's more important for the Reds. They got to get it done, and I'm taking the Dodgers at Busch.
And you got the late night games, Mariners and the Astros in Houston, Giants and the Rockies in Colorado. Webb on the hill for them, -220. Rangers and D-backs, what an awful game. Zach Gallen, -158 for the D-backs. White Sox and A's in Oakland, and the Angels and the Padres, Blake Snell at Petco, -320.
I'm all over Snell. He's been pitching great. Give me the Padres. I'm on the A's. I'm on the D-backs. I'm going to take the Giants at Coors, even though it's high risk. They always play great there, Rado. But I'm still taking San Francisco, especially after what they did to the Dodgers. They continue to impress me. And then I'm taking the Astros over the M's in Houston.
Yeah, it looks like they righted the ship a little bit by winning that series over the weekend, Scotty. Giants are back.
SportsGrid.com. Betting insights and entertainment at your fingertips 24/7 as our team covers the most important topics in sports wagering. Real-time odds, predictive betting models, expert picks, and more. Want the edge? Then get on the grid. SportsGrid.com.
Freakonomics Radio is sponsored by Adidas. Check out the latest footwear innovation from Adidas, the Adizero Adios Pro 2, which features carbon fiber energy rods that are both lightweight and precisely tuned for a more anatomical transition. Everything from the ultra-light polyester upper to the re-sculpted midsole and the reinvented outsoles are designed for speed. Visit adidas.com to learn more today.
As I mentioned previously, you got to get on the train like Carver High gets on that iron horse every night with a tall Bud Light. You got to get on Twitter and follow us at SportsGrid and at SportsGrid TV, at SportsGrid Radio. You're silent with odds, line changes, everything you need to know in sports. Right there, follow us. It's really that simple. What is the problem? Joe Pisapia is one of our favorites, Fantasy Sports Today on SportsGrid Sundays at 8 a.m. Eastern. Always love having Joe on C2C to talk everything, baseball sometimes, football this time. He's ready for fantasy. He's ready for regular season. Thursday night it kicks off at Raymond James with the Buccaneers, the Super Bowl champs, taking on Dak and Dallas in the NFL opener. Joe, good to see you. You know, I guess my first question is, you know, earlier in the show I was like, I'm not buying that they're just going to be the same two teams in the Super Bowl this year. I'm not buying anymore that he's just going to keep, you know, getting better and better with age, like wine. I don't believe that. I think at some point it's going to end. And I want to know what your feeling is as like a fantasy owner and as a football insider and fanatic. Do you think he just keeps rolling and kicking everyone's ass and winning Super Bowl rings? Like, am I going to be dead and this guy's still going to be winning Super Bowls? Am I going to be in a box and he's still going to win like his 12th Super Bowl? I mean, is this really happening to us?
It's not impossible. No, but here's the thing. We're looking at the NFC right now, and the problem is the NFC really isn't stacked anymore the way it used to be. And you're taking away a team like the Saints, right? There's no more Drew Brees, so they're no longer the contender that they were the last few years. You have a Rams team that I think people are excited about, and they should be, but it is still Matthew Stafford, who's never won a playoff game, and there's some questions whether or not that could actually happen too. And you're looking at the Green Bay Packers, right, as another team that could possibly unseat them in the NFC on the road to that Super Bowl. And let's be frank, Aaron Rodgers has not exactly stepped up in some of those biggest moments when he's had those opportunities in some other NFC championship games before. So really the path, when you look at the division the Bucs are in this year, and you look at the competitors in that NFC, I don't know how you stop them, especially because the defense is very good. And now you've got, from the wide receiving core, you've got three really good options from a fantasy perspective. It's just kind of a tough team. You think that Brady's probably going to finish somewhere in the top 12 quarterbacks again. He's probably still going to be a QB1, just looking at what the weapons are that he's got around him. The running back situation is a little difficult to unpack because you've got Ronald Jones, you got Leonard Fournette. I would lean towards Ronald Jones, but then again, Leonard Fournette was so good in the playoffs, so week to week, that stuff. And then in terms of investments, you've got Godwin, you've got Mike Evans, and then you've got Antonio Brown. Now, Brown's going rounds later than the other two guys, so perfectly honest with you, I'd prefer to take Brown at a cheaper discount because I think basically every week it's kind of Russian roulette with those guys, and hopefully you hit with one of them. But I think AB is the investment that's really interesting. Brady in a single quarterback league still returns good value, but it is really tough to see them not at least getting back potentially to that Super Bowl. So I wish I had better news for you, because I know you don't want to see Tom Brady anymore, but I don't know where the path is to who's going to stop him.
I think injuries, something's going to happen. It's not just going to be some gravy train to Los Angeles for the Buccaneers. I just don't believe it. I'll believe it when I see it. What about as far as Dallas goes? What players do you like? I mean, you got to lick your chops at some of the talent they got on that team in terms of fantasy.
No, absolutely. Look, this first game might be a little tricky because they got some injuries to the offensive line here. Their best lineman's going to be out. And they've got a couple other injuries to other guys on that line. So it might not be the best first game out of the gate for Ezekiel Elliott. But I'll tell you this, that wide receiving core, very investable. I think Dak Prescott will be fine. I am not nearly hyperventilating like other people are. If you have a fantasy draft tonight, he is still a top 5 quarterback, period, end of story. He's got a shot for 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns. No, I'm not stuttering. I'm telling you, he's got that opportunity to do just that. CeeDee Lamb is the one I'm really excited about. CeeDee Lamb, in a very small sample size last year, showed you just how good he could be with Dak. It only lasted 4 weeks. But if you look overall in the year, the guy had over 100 targets. The guy nearly had 1,000 yards receiving with some real questionable quarterback play. So getting Dak back already, I'm telling you that I think that CeeDee Lamb is that guy who's going to make that jump. A lot of people are getting him almost as a high-end wide receiver, too, in those 10-team leagues. I think he's a wide receiver 1 right now. I've got him ranked number 9 overall. And I would be curious, too. You know, it's 6 years in the league now for Ezekiel Elliott. He's only had rushing touchdowns twice over double digits, right, in his career. And sometimes you start to see a little bit of drop-off. And I know that's kind of a sacrilegious thing to say about Ezekiel Elliott, but I would be on the down low grabbing some Tony Pollard shares in the cheap. He had 100 carries last year, 150 probably at least targeted for him this year in terms of that carry volume. And if there is an injury or something else that happens to Ezekiel Elliott, Pollard could develop a bigger role potentially in this offense.
Are you buying anybody on Miami's team and like Tua and all the speed they have on the outside, their receivers? They got the great tight end, Gesicki. Do you think that there's fantasy potential there? And do you like their chances at all against the Patriots in Foxborough against the rookie Mac Jones?
Well, I definitely think they're going to be a competitive team this year again, just like they were last year. Brian Flores is going to have them ready to play, and Tua certainly looks in this offseason to be a little bit more developed as a quarterback, a little bit more confident. And last year was just the worst set of circumstances for that guy. In terms of fantasy, I think the most intriguing piece you're going to find on the Miami Dolphins is actually Jalen Waddle. He's going to work in the slot, and those slot receptions are always worth more in terms of fantasy. There's something you can count on week to week because they're always going to be that high floor and even the high potential ceiling for Jalen Waddle because he is such a playmaker. He does create separation, but he's going to see a lot of volume, and that's something you really like. And in terms of where he's being drafted right now, Jalen Waddle is a guy that you could probably draft as a wide receiver 4 or even a 5 in the more shallow leagues. But I think he's got a chance to finish in that top 25 potentially if everything does break right. This is not going to be a high-flying offense. The offensive line certainly has some questions too, but I think when you're looking at pieces on a weekly basis, I think Jalen Waddle is the one that's really fascinating as a wide receiver 3 that you could plug in there if you hit running back really early in your drafts, or maybe even in daily fantasy too. If you look at this week too, he's really undervalued in daily fantasy in this matchup. And let's not forget, Stephon Gilmore is not in there, right? So they're missing their best corner in New England. So this is a good matchup week 1 to exploit. I know on Sunday we'll probably talk more about this on the show, but I really like Jalen Waddle week 1, and I like Jalen Waddle the rest of the season too as a really strong value. Gaskin's another one too that I think has a lot of opportunity. He does have that explosiveness. He is able to bounce some runs outside. I just want to be sure that we're not getting Ahmed, we're not getting Malcolm Brown, we're not getting some guys that are going to take away carries from him. That's the big danger. So as far as Myles Gaskin as an investment, good as a flex investment as a running back, but as an RB2, I think he's a little questionable.
So my son got Josh Allen as his quarterback in his fantasy league, and he's licking his chops. And I'm a Steeler fan. I love Najee Harris. People say the Steelers' offensive line sucks. I love the Steelers' receivers. I still love Ben Roethlisberger as a quarterback. What do you think of these two teams? Bills, obviously, very dangerous. And the Steelers, nobody respects them at all. I still think they win that division. And I'm picking them over Cleveland. Everybody thinks Cleveland's going to the Super Bowl. They're tripping on acid.
Well, I think your son made a really good pick, so tell him I said so. Tell him he definitely did a good job there getting Josh Allen, because Josh Allen controls all the scoring, right? Whether it's throwing touchdowns or rushing touchdowns for the most part, that run game really hasn't been a thing at all since he's been there. So we'll see if Singletary and Moss can kind of carve out some better roles for themselves. But right now, looking at it, I mean, Josh Allen still controls everything. So when 80% of the scoring that happens at offense goes through that guy, he becomes a very valuable asset. Diggs will be great again. But the other guy I think late is Gabriel Davis. If you saw towards the end of the year, especially whenever Stephon Diggs was getting double teamed, it was Gabriel Davis was getting a lot of attention and catching big touchdowns in big spots. And that means a lot as a rookie to get that sort of a rapport with your quarterback and that kind of trust level in those big games. I think Gabriel Davis is a guy you could see that could really be a great return on investment. And then when it comes to the Steelers, I think that's actually a team that people are sleeping on the value, just collectively. Starting at the quarterback, I think when you've balanced out the offense now with Najee Harris, I think it's a much better opportunity here for Ben Roethlisberger to be upright and to have a little bit more time in the pocket, because now we've got to, you're actually able to run the football. You're actually able to tire out that defensive line a little bit and also be a little bit more varied in terms of what you can do. Najee, to me, is already a top 10 running back. I have no problems with him being my RB1. I love doubling up at the end of drafts. I'd say the 12 spot or even the 11 spot. If you can get Najee Harris to start and then maybe Antonio Gibson in the second round, that is a great way to start a team. And in terms of the 3 wide receivers you got here, look, I still put Deontay Johnson in PPR very high up. He's going to catch more balls than he did last year. It's unfortunate that he has many drops. That's something that can be worked on, can be fixed. At least when he dropped the football, he didn't disappear. He came back in those games and he showed up, and Ben Roethlisberger went back to him in those games. And that is also very important to build that young wide receiver's confidence. Juju will probably be boring in there. Claypool is that one that is kind of boom or bust for me. And I think depending on what the other wide receivers you have already on your roster, Claypool is that perfect guy as a wide receiver 3. You could take a boring Marvin Jones or somebody like that later for depth, right? But Claypool is that guy that could catch a ton of touchdowns, and he could really be a difference maker. He could also go the other direction too. They've had some problems with him already, but overall in terms of talent, that's a guy that I think is fascinating from a fantasy standpoint if you want to roll the dice with some upside.
How about the Cardinals and Titans? That game's in Smashville, and I love Kyler Murray. He's got great receivers, and we already know what King Henry can do, and now you got Julio on that team. Isn't this like a fantasy paradise, these two teams?
No, it absolutely is. The only thing I like better than this is that Philadelphia game with Atlanta, because all those pieces are cheaper this week on FanDuel and DK. But I will tell you this. I think that looking at that game and those two offenses is every reason to be excited. I mean, Kyler Murray was on pace last year for the first quarterback ever to throw for 4,000 yards and rush for 1,000. That's an incredible stat. Now, he didn't quite get there, but he couldn't approach it this year. I would keep a close eye on Rondell Moore, also another guy late in drafts that can be had pretty cheap. And I think there's some upside there with him if he starts working in the slot. I'm fading away from A.J. Green and the older wide receivers in favor of a guy like Rondell Moore. And then we get to the Titans. This is a fascinating spot here because you've got Julio Jones on one side, A.J. Brown on the other, and then Derrick Henry in the backfield. I don't know what you do as an opposing defense to stop these guys, because the minute you bring up some safety help to help out with Derrick Henry and stack the box, now you're leaving A.J. Brown and or Julio Jones in single coverage. That's not going to work out well in the NFL unless you have really good corners, and most teams don't, let's be honest. So they are really tough to stop. And Ryan Tannehill last year had 40 combined touchdowns, 33 passing, 7 rushing. Ryan Tannehill is one of the most underrated quarterbacks in fantasy you're going to find. If you don't want to go after one of the top 5 guys, you can get Tannehill somewhere around 11 or 12 off the board at quarterback, and that could be a guy who could probably finish as high as QB 6 or 7 if everything breaks right. And I do think they're going to throw the ball more. Derrick Henry's all world. I'm not too worried about the workload. I know some people are, but I think if you look at Derrick Henry versus some of those other backs that have had those big 2,000-yard seasons, there is nobody that quite looks like Derrick Henry, okay? CJ2K is not the same body type as Derrick Henry, okay? Barry Sanders is not, God bless him, great running back, one of the greatest of all time, not the same body type of Derrick Henry. So I think Derrick Henry's got one more big year in him, and I think fantasy owners are still going to feel comfortable with him, taking him somewhere around the top 3 overall.
So who do you like better? I got 45 seconds in terms of fantasy, the Browns-Chiefs game or that Bears-Rams game in LA?
I'm going to go actually with the Chiefs game because you know what you're getting with that offense. You know what Tyreek Hill can do, and Kelsey, and obviously Mahomes. And then on the other side, too, Nick Chubb, probably my favorite guy in terms of value in the first round. Nick Chubb, I think, has a real shot to win the rushing title this year.
All right, so, and do you think the Bears-Rams, a lot of value there with Stafford and his team? Are you high on them? I got 20 seconds.
Give me Woods, give me Kupp. I'll take Stafford in any fantasy league, of course, too, as a QB, like 12th overall a QB. But I'll tell you what, man, until Justin Fields takes over, I'm just going to wait on the Bears, except for Montgomery. He's coming at a really good value. People are sleeping on him after last year's really solid year.
All right, Joe. Great stuff. Always a pleasure, my man. We'll catch you on Fantasy Sports today, Sundays at 8 a.m. Thanks for coming on Coast to Coast today, brother.
SportsGrid.com. Betting insights and entertainment at your fingertips 24/7 as our team covers the most important topics in sports wagering. Real-time odds, predictive betting models, expert picks, and more. Want the edge? Then get on the grid. SportsGrid.com.
Freakonomics Radio is sponsored by Adidas. Check out the latest footwear innovation from Adidas, the Adizero Adios Pro 2, which features carbon fiber energy rods that are both lightweight and precisely tuned for a more anatomical transition. Everything from the ultra-light polyester upper to the resculpted midsole and the reinvented outsoles are designed for speed. Visit adidas.com to learn more today.
All right, Perella finished. Concession workers at Oracle Park vote to strike. They've had it with dealing with people with COVID. Florida neighborhood active shooting rampage leaves 4 dead. Ole Miss softball coach accused of sleeping with a girl on the team. Oh, heavens to Betsy. Florida driver plows Tesla into a house and kills 2 people. Whoops. Texas murder suspect bond revoked after allegedly stabbing a witness. Took care of that problem. World's largest rodents reclaim a home and poop on wealthy gated community. They're pooping everywhere, Carver High. Most Americans struggle to do 5 push-ups. Carver High refuses to do push-ups. Mystery woman strolls through an airport in a bikini and a mask. That's all she wore. I love that girl. Michigan police respond to a call at Walmart where employees were brawling. That's fantastic. What a bummer. Actor Michael K. Williams passed away at 54. They're saying drugs allegedly involved. Woman says she was kicked off plane for being fat, tattooed, and mixed race. Boy charged with capital murder after 12-year-old burns to death. Jesus. 82-year-old Texas wife charged with murdering her husband. She's 82. She'd had enough. Reporters said she was violated during the Clemson-Georgia game. Fans were feeling her up. Not a good scene. Chicago cop allegedly shoved flashlight into a handcuffed boy's butt. Not good. Pharrell Joe Biden chants busting out at college football games all over the country. Woman at U.S. Open goes viral for chugging beer multiple times at the tennis tournament. South Carolina Big Bone Barbecue named the winner at the Heinz Field Rib Fest, Carver High. Pele had surgery to remove a tumor. Clemson fan inhales an entire tub of mayonnaise during Saturday night's game. Strong effort. Man arrested for stealing 700 pieces of women's underwear. Fantastic move. Florida has the highest COVID death rate in the USA, the Sunshine State. Former NFL running back Clinton Portis pleads guilty to fraud charge for stealing from the NFL pension fund. He's facing 10. They were going to give him 20 to 30, negotiated down to 10. Your boy, Clinton Portis, with his Harry Carey glasses. We'll see you tonight on the bench at 10 p.m. Eastern. Game time decisions is next on the grid. Good night, everybody. Shake out. Ooh.
To win, you need a plan. We're the home of sports gaming strategies and information to give you.
Freakonomics Radio is sponsored by Adidas. Check out the latest footwear innovation from Adidas, the Adizero Adios Pro 2, which features carbon fiber energy rods that are both lightweight and precisely tuned for a more anatomical transition. Everything from the ultra-light polyester upper to the resculpted midsole and the reinvented outsoles are designed for speed. Visit adidas.com to learn more today.